Well, we're back in the kitchen again. Today we're going to fix a simple, easy meal that I call just ground meat and gravy with pork and beans. Now the pork and beans are going to be on the side, but you can mix them in. And this is a really quick, easy meal and quite satisfying to the old tummy there. We've got a ground meat. We've got an onion, bell pepper, celery, beef stock, garlic. Our seasonings are going to be rubbed sage, marjoram, and thyme. And for a thickener, I use a little bit of brown gravy. And of course, our pork and beans. Let me clear all this off, and then we're going to get started. We're going to start off by cutting up our onion. I really like this dish. It's quite satisfying to the tummy. Easy to make. Doesn't require a lot of time. Chop that onion up there. What I got here is a Vidalia. I love Vidalias. They had some at the store, so that's what I got. I love them because they're sweeter and they're larger, so you don't need more than one most of the time. Take that part away. Got my trusty little bowls right here. Put all that in there. Nope. There's different ways to slice an onion. This is mine. I like to kind of cut it along the lines a little bit. And turn around and just slice it. Works out pretty good. And there we go, one onion done. Uh-oh. Got it done just in time too. The eyes are starting to feel the burn, baby, the burn. Got that bell pepper next. How you like that? I can do that more often than not. I don't get it every time, but it look good when you do it. Cut that up. Like I said before, I like to fine chop my vegetables. I'm kind of finicky when it comes to vegetables. It took the longest time before I'd even eat bell peppers and onions and all that. When my dad used to cook when I was young, if I saw onions or anything in there, I wouldn't eat it. I'd go hungry instead. And try to sneak me something when they went to bed. But as I got older, I kind of learned that, hey, those flavors really work good. So I just cook my stuff down, chop it small so I don't see it. But that's just me. I mean, if you want to cut them up big, that's just as good. And some people like that. Some people like to leave the crunch to the vegetables. I'm not one of them, but like I said, that's just my personal quirks. With cooking, it's what you like. we go. One more time. Get off the side, Jeep. There we go. And I got my pot heating on that stove there, my trusty old cast iron. Got a little bit of olive oil on it. I got the heat on low so it don't get too hot while I'm doing this. It should be just perfect by the time I finish chopping up my vegetables. And normally I wouldn't be showing all this. I'd just chop them off camera, but since it don't take long to do this, I'm going to need a little bit of length to this, so I decided to just go ahead and go with it today. And now I can get that celery. There we go, all chopped up. I can go in the same little bowl with the bell pepper because I'm going to be browning all that at the same time. Oh, getting that stuff all over my little table there. Alright. We're done with that. Let me get my other ingredients and we'll be right. We're back at the stove. As you can see, my pot's just starting to smoke a little. First thing we're going to do is throw in them onions. Get that going. And I still got my fire on low. And it looks like I might need just a tad more olive oil in that. Go ahead and kick my fire up to halfway. Grab a little olive oil there and add a little bit more. Put that off to the side, won't be needing that. Get them onions good. Once they start getting translucent or kind of clear, I'm going to dump in my bell pepper and my celery. It'll take a few minutes to do this. Alright, our onions are about right where we want them there. They're starting to brown up a little bit on the smaller pieces. I've been off camera stirring this the whole time. I didn't think y'all want to see all that. That takes a little while to go. We're throwing in them bell peppers and celery right now. And when I get them roasted down a bit, we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw in the garlic. I've got my heat, like I said, about halfway there, so I got to do a lot of stirring with this. Otherwise, if I had it low, I wouldn't be paying as much attention, but don't want to burn nothing. Might notice I got blue hands. I just got in the habit of wearing gloves when I started working offshore. They made it mandatory. Just about everything you do, you have to wear gloves. And on some of the smaller platforms, me and my buddy Danny would do the cooking for them, just out of self-preservation, of course. Because despite popular belief, not everybody from Louisiana can cook good. But they make you wear gloves, so I just kind of got in the habit of doing it. Worked most of my life offshore as a fire and safety man with my buddy Danny. We were a pretty damn good team, if I must say so myself. I think I'm going to cut my fire down to about 1/4 right now. I don't want to mess nothing up. This is a really good little dish. It's simple, it's easy to fix, doesn't really take a whole lot of time. I mean, if you like your vegetables crunchy and stuff, it takes even less time. I don't. I like to cook the hell out of them. That's why they call it the Holy Trinity, because I cook the hell out of it. Ow! Just pretend you didn't see me hit my head just now. Might need just a touch more olive oil. Let's grab that. Let's sprinkle. I tend to use olive oil. My friend Andrea likes grapeseed oil and stuff. It's just a habit. I started using olive oil, and that's what I use for most of my cooking. Some things like seafood, I'll go with coconut oil. This is coming along nice. I'll go ahead and do this off camera and get it to where I want, and we'll come back and we'll add our garlic. Alright, I've got everything wilted down like I like it. I'm going to add some garlic to this. If you want to use fresh garlic, that's fine. I just don't like the mess, and it's just so much quicker and easier to use the pre-minced. And I use about a spoon, a good bit of garlic in there. With that, I'll starting to toast up there. And while I was off camera, I went ahead and I fixed my stock. I got 2 cups. I used the Tones paste. I like it better. I tried bouillon cubes. I didn't care for that. I just didn't like the flavor of it. You can use a good bit of stock. And that's entirely up to you. I mean, you don't have to use stock if you don't want to. You can use just plain old water. My theory is water dilutes and doesn't add any flavor. It just adds volume. So I'm always putting stock in because that does add flavor. Plus, you don't need to add any salt when you got the stock in there. Let's come up. Yeah, start to smell them garlic. Get them more browned up. Then we'll kick that fire up a little bit and throw in that ground meat and brown it up. Once the ground meat's brown, a couple of herbs. Let that cook a little while. Then we'll throw in the brown gravy mix, which I'll mix in my measuring cup before. Because I don't like to just throw it in the pot there. It just don't seem to dissolve right. And on the pack it says use a cup of water, but we're only going to use maybe a half because we want it to thicken up. We don't want it all kind of watery there. Now probably once the ground meat's brown, I got my seasonings in and my stock in, I'll probably let it cook for about 15-20 minutes, and then I'll add the gravy and let it cook for another 5-10 minutes, and it'll be done. It'll be ready for some rice and pork and beans. Tastes really good with those pork and beans. I mean, you can use any vegetable you want, but I like it with pork and beans. And don't put nothing in them, you know, just plain old pork and beans. Alright, time to kick that fire back up to halfway. Stir around. Ground meat. Once again, I'm using, this is about a pound, a little over a pound of ground meat. Bros Mart, about a couple of blocks from where I live. I find they got some of the best meat. It's as lean can get. Alright, got that ground meat in there. Take too long to do this and get all the vegetables stuck in there. Now if you're using a leaner cut of meat, of ground meat, like you get at the big box stores most of the time, they got a lot of fat in them. And you have to drain that stuff. You brown your ground meat first. But this stuff is so lean that it doesn't need any draining. So I do my vegetables first and just throw the ground meat in there. But like I said, if you're using a ground meat that's got more fat, I would do the ground meat first, brown it, drain it, take the ground meat out, and throw my vegetables in. Or you can throw your vegetables in without taking the ground meat out. It's totally up to you. But I find they brown a lot better without the ground meat there. That's the thing about cooking. It's all how you like to do it. I look at recipes as just a general set of directions on how to go about doing it and what you should put in it. Once I've done a dish a couple of times, I usually throw the recipe out the window and start improvising and doing it my way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But, you know, you never know till you try. Look at that. See that? That ground meat's already browned up. Got no liquid in that pot. Now, for the seasonings, we're going to use a little bit of rubbed sage. And I really have no rhyme or reason to what I put in stuff. It just kind of, after years of cooking and using different stuff that I find works well together. You know, different types of meat, different types of herbs. A little bit of marjoram. And of course, most every time I cook, I put thyme and stuff. I just like the flavor. To create a pun, I always have time to thyme. And I just kind of lightly coat the top a little bit. I don't measure any of that. I get chastised by my friend Andrea for that all the time, but it's just the way I learned to cook. I like to say my Cajun ancestors are always looking over my shoulder, and they tell me when it's time to stop. They say, "That's enough, chef. You're going to mess that up if you put any more." And they're usually right, too. Usually when I mess something up, it's because I didn't listen to myself. My instincts. That's smelling so good right now. It's smelling herbs. Alright, that fire's still on halfway. Like I said, we've got our stock pre-made. I got approximately 2 cups right there. Go ahead and pour that in there. See if that'll do it. If it doesn't, then I'm going to go ahead and add some water to it. But no, that got it. That got it right there. Alright, let that come up to a boil. Oh, bubbly. Bubbly, bubbly. And there we go, starting to boil already. I've cooked this dish so many times over the years, I can't tell you. One of the first things I learned to cook, my daddy used to cook this because it was basically ground meat was cheap and it was a quick, easy dish when you didn't have a lot of time. I'm pretty sure my grandma made this too, but you know, I was fairly young back then, so it's kind of hard to remember. Alright, she's already coming up to a boil. We'll go ahead and kick that fire down to low. I'm going to put the lid on this and let that simmer for a while. Let them herbs and everything meld in really good, and we'll be back. Okay, that's been simmering about 15 minutes or so. Gonna go ahead now. We're gonna add that brown gravy. I made that off camera. It's a pack of brown gravy. Usually makes 1 cup. I've only used half a cup of cold water, and by cold I mean room temperature, straight out the faucet, not from the ice box. Dump that in there. Like that. Oh, still got a little bit left. I'm going to put a little more water in that. Just to kind of get all that gravy mix in there. That ought to do it. I'm going to kick that fire back up to high. And get that boiling. Mix that all around. And I've got my pork and beans hitting on the other burner there. Got my rice cooking. It should be done about now. Bring this up to boil. Let it boil a little while. Then we'll kick that fire down. Let it simmer for a few minutes. Let that gravy thicken up in there. I'm not getting it to like a stew consistency or nothing. It's more of a just a little thicker gravy. That way it'll stick to that rice. When you're cooking like pork chops or chicken and stuff, when you brown the meat, you get like them little greenies and stuff in the bottom, and that helps thicken up your gravy a little bit. But this don't. That ground meat don't do that, so you gotta help it a little bit. Brought it up to a boil there. That's another reason you don't put no salt in that. Between that stock and that brown gravy, you're going to have plenty of sodium. I guarantee you. Alright, let me go ahead and kick that fire down to low again. My stomach rumbling already. It knows what's coming. Starting to get impatient, but I gotta be a little patient and let that cook right. It's already starting to thicken up a little bit. Go ahead and kill the fire on my pork and beans there. I don't want to burn them or nothing. Just straight out the can old pork and beans. I like the Showboat brand, but hey, whatever brand you like, that's the brand you use. Yeah, you can see the color changing as we go. I thickened it up a little bit. I can feel the difference when I stir it. You might stir your pot. I stir mine. Yeah, you can see it kind of thickening up there. Might seem like I'm awful quiet right now. I'm just contemplating what's coming next. Alright, that's been about 2-3 minutes. We'll go ahead and turn that fire off. I'm going to let it rest for another couple of minutes and I'll be right back. I'll plate it up and then I'll be right back. And then we'll head for the table. And that's where I'll see you. Alright, like I said, we at the table. Got a big old plate of ground meat and gravy, rice, pork and beans. I like to mix all that up together. It may look like a lot, but I guarantee you, I'm going to eat all of that. It's going to be a happy me and a happy plate. Let's go ahead and give that a taste. I don't know if I'm going to be able to describe this, but I'll give it a shot. Oh yeah. Get the taste of that ground meat with them herbs and stuff all mixed in, and then the sweetness of those pork and beans. And as you can see, it really didn't thicken it up a whole lot. It just basically added, that brown gravy mix just basically added a little bit more body to the gravy. Because it was more of a watery base before. I mean, it's perfectly good like that, but I like it a little thicker. Well, y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to dig in and eat all this. And I'll see y'all next time on Sky's Kitchen. Try this. This is a really good little recipe. Easy to make. Anybody can do it. Till next time, bon appetit.